Welcome to MMA on the Rocks. My name is Bill Welker, and you are listening to episode 362 of the podcast. Today is Sunday, August the 25th, and we are fresh off of UFC Vegas 96. Going to be a pretty quick episode this Sunday evening, early evening. It still feels like afternoon because it's still light outside, but it also feels like late in the day for me because we went to a water park today, which is one of my least favorite things to do. I'll be honest with you guys. I do not enjoy water parks. I don't like water slides. I don't like public pools. None of that stuff is interesting to me. However, my daughter loves it. So we went to, it was just a tiny little water park. It's really like a hotel. So it's a really nice Holiday Inn hotel that has a water park in the back and some big water slides, just a couple of water slides, a big pool in the middle, a lazy river that goes around the whole thing. So that's what we did today. Spent some time out in the sun, enjoying what's left of the summer, I guess, even though it's always kind of summer here. But that was my Sunday. Not the most enjoyable thing, but my daughter and her friends had a blast. So that's all that matters, right? Kids have a good time, and then hopefully they get all tuckered out and go to bed early on this school night, so grown-ups can do grown-up things, which is pretty much what I'm doing here now. My wife and daughter are downstairs watching a movie right now, so I said, hey, let me run and do the podcast. Poured myself a little bit of Buffalo Trace. You guys ever heard of it? Pretty popular bourbon whiskey here. So cheers to all of you out there. Thanks for tuning in. We got John Dong on the show. What's up, John? Having a good Sunday, I hope. All right, let's talk UFC. Fun card last night. Fun little card, I thought. It did seem to drag out at some points. Mostly around the Ultimate Fighter finale fights. I don't even know what season of the Ultimate Fighter this was. What is it? Season 32? I don't know. In any case, let's talk about the main event. It's hard not to like Caio Borralho. The guy is well-spoken. Seems like a really nice guy. Used to be a teacher. He's part of the Fighting Nerds team that Matt the Mechanic is such a big fan of. And he just says all the right things, and then he performs in the octagon as well. So we were talking about Thursday. I told you guys I thought Borralho would win, but I didn't see what his path to victory would be because I didn't see him knocking out or submitting Jared Cannonier. Because Jared Cannonier has only been knocked out one time by Nasruddin Imavov, I believe, and I don't think he's ever been submitted. So, but at the same time, 40 years old, yeah, Jared Cannonier has never been submitted. So there's that. I thought Borralho looked fantastic. He was faster. He was really, just beating Cannonier to the punch on everything. Damn near finished him in the 5th round too. That was exciting. Dropped him, and then, was dropping some heavy strikes on Jared Cannonier. He also almost finished him. What was it, in the 2nd round? I think it was, where he put him down again. But great octagon awareness by Borralho. Great patience. He didn't jump the gun at all when he could have a couple of times. He respected the endurance, the toughness, the durability of Jared Cannonier. And I think it played to his benefit. So he walks away with a unanimous decision victory. What do you guys want to see next for this guy? Because, you know, he's already had a main event win over the number 5 ranked middleweight. So what do we do now? Do we do Caio Borralho against Nasruddin Imavov? Do we do Caio Borralho against Israel Adesanya, trying to rebound off of a loss? What do we do? Does Borralho end up ranked number 5 on Tuesday morning? Does he take Jared Cannonier's spot, or is he going to be a little further down the line? Do we both do Borralho versus Paulo Costa, Brendan Allen, Marvin Vettori? I think Marvin Vettori and Brendan Allen are already booked to fight each other, are they not? So it's going to be interesting to see what they do with this kid. I think he's definitely a star in the making, for sure. And then what do you do with Jared Cannonier, right? I mean, he was ranked number 5. He didn't look horrible in this main event. I mean, they put him in there with a young stud, but it didn't look great either. So what do you do? What do you do with Jared Cannonier? Do you have him fight someone like a Chris Curtis next? Jack Hermanson, maybe? Do you have him fight the loser of Marvin Vettori and Brendan Allen? What would you guys do? Let me know. I think that's what I'm leaning towards. Whoever loses between Brendan Allen and Marvin Vettori, Jared Cannonier gets to fight them. Sadly, I think we can say a title run is out of the picture for Jared Cannonier. And I'm a big fan of Jared Cannonier, have been for a long time. But it's tough, man. 40 years old, a guy who once fought at heavyweight, making that cut down to 185 pounds. The days are numbered. All right. Tabitha Ricci getting the best of Angela Hill in the co-main event. Outstriking her, really. A lot of people thought the path to victory for Tabitha Ricci would have been to grapple with Angela Hill, but no, I mean, she had the faster hands. She was beating her up on the feet a little bit. It looked good in there. Angela Hill had her moments as well. In fact, I would say in the few grappling exchanges we saw, Angela Hill more than held her own. So, congratulations to Tabitha Ricci on a great performance here. And, what do we do with her next? So she's gonna leapfrog a little bit in the rankings. Angela Hill was ranked 9. Tabitha Ricci was ranked 11. So they'll probably just switch places there. Are we looking at Tabitha Ricci versus Amanda Lemos next? Maybe Jessica Andrade? There's a few different options. Marina Rodriguez and Tabitha Ricci might be a good one. All right, let's talk about the Ultimate Fighter fights here. Did anybody watch this season of The Ultimate Fighter? I'll start with that because I didn't. I saw like half of a commercial for it, and then I decided this is not for me. I'm not taking time out of my schedule to watch any of this. So I didn't see any of The Ultimate Fighter. I don't know what happened on it. I'm assuming there wasn't much drama to talk about because otherwise we would have heard all about it, right? So the middleweight winner wound up being Ryan Loder, who was a Division I All-American wrestler. And he beat Robert Valentin in this finals matchup, TKO'd him with elbows. It was a close fight. Valentin wound up getting on top of this wrestler at one point. And then I don't know, I'm just confused all around because the Ultimate Fighter is supposed to be like young up and coming prospects, right? This guy is 33, Ryan Loder. And it seems like he had a long wrestling career. He's a wrestling coach at Team Alpha Male, I think. And he looked older than 33, to be honest. But, winds up getting the job done. Survived some really bad positions there early on in the fight. Wound up getting on top of Robert Valentin and TKOs him with some elbows. Then Myron Santos had a nasty knockout at featherweight over Con Ofli. Nasty knockout there. Minute 30 seconds in the second round. So let me know, guys. I'm really curious of everyone who listens to the show, who actually watched this season of The Ultimate Fighter, and was there anything worth checking out? Because all signs point to no, it seems like. The undefeated Michael Morales remained undefeated. Same kind of scenario as the Ryan Loder Robert Valentin fight, where Morales wound up underneath Neil Magny for a couple of minutes there in the first round, and it was not looking good. It seemed like Neil Magny was just gonna drag him to deep water and smother him, but Morales got back up to his feet and managed to get a pretty quick TKO victory over Neil Magny. So, and then he called out Ian Gary. I like that call out because Ian Gary recently fought Neil Magny, was not able to finish him. You guys remember there was that whole drama about Neil Magny, I think kind of tongue in cheek, talking about how he beats his kids, and Ian Gary took that really personally and said he was going to dominate Neil Magny, and then wound up winning a pretty uneventful decision over him. So Morales finishes Neil Magny in the first round. Not a lot of people can say they did that. And then calls out Ian Gary. So I like that call out. I like that matchup. I think that's a fun fight. Gerald Meerschaert. I was talking about this last week on the Thursday episode when Matt was doing his picks. Meerschaert is one of these guys who is not that consistent. Sometimes he gets matched up with guys that he should beat and doesn't. He just doesn't show up. Sometimes he gets matched up with guys who are far better strikers than him, and he outstrikes them. And then sometimes, like last night, he pulls a submission out of a hat, which is exactly what he did here with Edmund Shabazian. So Shabazian was definitely getting the better of the stand-up for most of this fight. Meerschaert was having a little trouble with the speed and the timing and the trickery of Shabazian on the feet. Wound up on his back a couple of times and seemed to be content there. Shabazian almost finished it in the first round. He was dropping some heavy leather on GM3 in that first round. And the referee, Mark Smith, was taking a good look. He kept telling Gerald, you got to move or I'm going to stop it. And Gerald would kind of move and, get back to his guard a little bit, but wasn't able to mount any offense off of his back. And then got hurt to the body pretty bad in that second round, but still was able to drag Shabazian to the ground. And then once he got on top of him, it really looked like a black belt toying with a blue belt at that point, which is, I think, exactly what we saw. Ends up getting to the arm triangle choke and finishing it 4 minutes, 12 seconds into the second round. Francis Marshall split decision win over Dennis Bazookia. We had a bunch of split decisions on this card. I don't really understand why this one was a split decision. I thought Francis Marshall clearly won rounds 1 and 2. At the end of the second round, Dennis Bazookia started to heat up a little bit, but he also got knocked down at the beginning of that round. So you have to score that round for Francis Marshall. And the first round was a pretty dominant win for Francis Marshall. So, and then I thought Bazookia did win the third round, but I don't understand why there was a split decision here. There was a whole bunch of them on this card. And yeah, I don't know what the judges were looking at here, but I thought this was a pretty clear victory for Francis Marshall. And then a one-sided beatdown. Zachary Reese just beat the shit out of Jose Medina. Medina, to his credit, super tough, was able to hang in there for a lot of it. It was definitely a 10-8 round in the first round, in my opinion. Zachary Reese, nasty body kicks that he landed on Medina, and then stunned him with some strikes as well. Had him dazed up against the cage a couple of times. And Medina would get hit, and then he would just like wave his finger at Zachary Reese. It was kind of cringeworthy. He would wave his finger and then like point at the octagon and then not do anything to retaliate. So he would say like, "Oh, you didn't hurt me with that." And he did this several times throughout the fight. And Zachary Reese was like, I mean, I guess I can't finish this guy, but like don't call me out and then do nothing. I think he was a little confused, maybe a little befuddled there. But good experience for Zachary Reese, who I think they said he's had 13 minutes of fight time total in his pro career. All first round finishes up until last night. And he also had, he also got finished in the first round against Cody Brundage back in December. But other than that, he was coming off of a 20-second knockout over Julian Marquez. Definitely a dominant performance here by Zachary Reese, who, fun fact here, fought Kevin Holland as an amateur back in 2012 and lost a unanimous decision there. His only loss as an amateur, and his only loss as a pro was to Cody Brundage. But I thought it was a really impressive performance by Zachary Reese. He had more cage time last night than he had in his 8 professional fights previous combined. Then we had Slava Claus getting the split decision win over James Lontop. Jacqueline Cavalcanti split decision over Josiane Nunez, and Kong Wang with a nasty first round knockout over Victoria Leonardo. Just really devastating power for that flyweight division. Kong Wang apparently has also fought Valentina Shevchenko in kickboxing before starting her MMA career. So, she's carrying a lot of power for that division, and she asked to be on the main card. Hard to argue with her there. So that was pretty much it. I think it was a good card, but the timing was just a little off for me. I felt like some things were just dragging on too much. And we're off this coming week. It seems like there's no UFC this weekend coming up. We are still gonna do an episode on Thursday. I'm trying to line up a guest. Unfortunately, BKFC, I'm not sure the name or the number of the event, but September 13th at the Hard Rock Casino in Hollywood, Florida. The co-main event has been called off because Muhammad King Mo Lawal has pulled out of his co-main event fight against Dave the Redneck Mondell. Dave Mondell has already booked another fight, but it will not be in Florida in September. It will be the following month in Spain against Danny Christie, and that will be at light heavyweight. So Dave Mundel's title will not be on the line. I'm bummed because I was looking forward to driving across the state to see my buddy Dave Mundell put on a co-main event show for the crowd in Hollywood, Florida. I'm pretty sure I will still be attending the event. So if anybody was hoping to bump into me, you may still. Still intending to go check out that event. So we'll see what happens. No UFC this coming week. So again, I am working on a guest for this Thursday. We'll see if that comes together. And then the week after, so September 7th, we have Gilbert Burns and Sean Brady in the main event at the Apex. So that should be a fun fight. Co-main event, Jessica Andrade and Natalia Silva. So we'll break this one down in a couple of weeks here. But there's some fun fights on here. Ryan Spann and Ovince St. Preux. That's a fun fight. And yeah, not much else on that. Yeah, so that's pretty much all I got. Like I said, short episode this week. Just a quick recap of the UFC. The sky's the limit for Caio Borralho. I'm excited to see, what his next fight will bring and, what level of competition he gets in there with. I mean, I imagine they're going to step him up, but, there's not many rungs left on the ladder after you beat Jared Cannonier in a main event. So the next one's going to be big for him. I have a feeling. So let me know what you guys thought about this card. Let me know what you thought about some of the controversial decisions. And let me know what you think should be next for some of these fighters. And that's all I got for this week. Not a whole lot to talk about. So I'll see you guys on Thursday. Make sure you're all subscribed, notifications on, so you can join the live show and check out the potential guest I have on Thursday night. And that's all I got. So until next time, cheers, everybody. Goodbye.